If you thought Thondia was scary, just wait till you see Gallet, honeycombed with thousands of tunnels filled with carnivorous insects. Hope your battle line's ready for the challenge. In the Season 1, or at least the beginning of our 2022-2023 General's Handbook, we can see what changes are coming to pitch battles and how that's going to change. In Thondia, everything was about your big monsters, so you had the Alpha Beast Pack, things that were designed to hunt down monsters, and it really benefited monster armies, Sons of Behemoth, things like that. This one kind of went in the other direction. Monsters are gone. What you want now is smaller battle lines in large numbers for things like Skaven, Gloomspite gets, things that can bring a lot of bodies with not a lot of wounds. And Stormcast, of course, because Stormcast always benefit from an Age of Sigmar thing. I'm not salty at all. Stormcast always will benefit as well, but you're really going to see the benefits for your smaller infantry armies that I feel like kind of suffered in Thondia. But in Gallet, that's what you want. Your battle line units, as long as they have a wounds characteristic of 4 or less and they aren't riding a mount, count as Galatian veterans. Now, a Galatian veteran is going to really matter because all of your battalions, all of your battle tactics, not all of your battle tactics, but a lot of the battle tactics matter if you are completing them with Galatian veterans. And how many of them you have matters. The 2 new battalions, one of them can only be made up of Galatian veterans, but each model in that battalion counts as 3 for contesting objectives. If you've got a unit of 40 clan rats, that's a unit of 120 clan rats. That's a lot. That's going to be hard for somebody to contest. On the other side, the other new War Scroll battalion is one that's kind of hunting them. So if you target a Galatian veteran, you get to do an additional damage with your weapons. So if you're going into those 40 clan rats, you're going to hit them harder. And things that already hit really hard are just going to wipe them out in droves. The other thing we're seeing is updated endless spells. We're seeing updated battle tactics. We're seeing updated pitched battles. So instead of the meteors, you're going to see different things you can do. Different things that are closer to this kind of honeycomb world of Gallet, which isn't Thondia of the beasts, it's Gallet of the terrible insects that live under the ground. So what you want is guys who can go down in the tunnels, kill the insects, and come back alive. That's where you get the Galatian veterans. So the game's going to change because list building is going to be completely different. Where you would focus on making sure you had monsters to get all of this monstrous stuff doesn't really matter anymore. You want big infantry blocks. And honestly, it's nice to see that, because I feel like a lot of the monster armies kind of had a stranglehold on the meta for a long time. This is going to make people rethink that. And some armies aren't going to suffer as much as others. Your Flesh Eater courts are just going to move away from the dragons and back into the ghouls. But armies like the Sons of Behemoth, you're going to see them played a lot less, because they cannot bring the infantry that anything else can bring. So I feel like you're going to see a movement away from these smaller, thicker armies back into infantry spam. And I think that armies that can do that are going to succeed in the meta. Armies like Skaven, Gloomspite gets, Cities of Sigmar. And that's nice to see. It feels like fantasy a bit more. Because fantasy, monsters still mattered, but they didn't matter as much as I felt like they did at the beginning of 3.0. So with this, we're getting kind of a movement back to playing an army game instead of playing I have the biggest living tank. And that's going to be fun. Armies that sank to the bottom are going to rise to the top, vice versa. Battle tactics are going to be different. Army building is going to be different. Gameplay is going to be different. Everything's going to change. This is an essential buy for anyone who wants to play in any sort of sanctioned event, and even if you just want to play at a tournament at your local hobby shop, because you need to know what scenarios you need to plan for, and you need to know what battle tactics you can and can't take. Because if you were planning your Alpha Beast pack for your army, sorry, you can't do that anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. And Hunters of the Hinterlands doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah. we're going to see how that changes things. But yeah, if you want to be in the meta at all and not just casually playing some pitched battles with your friends, absolutely necessary buy. And it comes with these fun punch outs, so you can see all the battle tactics that you got and some more objectives. So that's always pretty. So if you just like to collect different battle tactics and have them to look at, you don't want to buy it for that. If you're as excited about me about how these new rules are going to affect your favorite armies, check out Skaven over here, who I think are going to benefit more than anybody else, having gone from the bottom and now rising to the top. Check out that video right here. I'm Clint with Bowles. Y'all have a good one.